Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today we'll be talking about important signs we can notice in our lives that we find ourselves being on a right track, being on a track that is meant for our greatest possible growth and that is also taking us towards the greatest possible prosperity, abundance, health, and joy. So how can you know that you're on this path? Because so often, especially these times right now, people are wondering, well, my life is not changing. How can I know that I'm on the right track? And my friends, I can tell you exactly how to know that you are, because I know when I've started on my journey in the year 2017, how much time it actually takes at the beginning so things start shifting. So we start experiencing those first manifestations that are telling to us that actually something is coming out of this. So firstly, my friend, you gotta believe in yourself right now. Maybe no one else will tell you this, but you're in the most transformative phase of your life right now. Do you feel that? Let me know in the comment section if you feel that. Because even, when you don't see results, when you don't see the light, when you don't see sometimes reasons to keep up, you need to believe in yourself. You have to say to yourself that, well, it's not happening yet, but I will keep up. Because sometimes, all it takes is truly to have this heartfelt courage to manifest what you wish to see in your life. So, my friend, I believe in you. What are the signs that you can recognize that you are on the right track? Well, the first thing I've noticed in my life when I've started working on this dream, on what I'm working on today, and it's been an incredible journey. The first thing I've noticed in my life was that I've started meeting so many incredible challenges, like financial challenges. People started doubting into myself, like, getting criticism from my family members, from some friends. And it just felt like the whole world would turn against me just because I've started following my dreams. But this is like a common pattern that happens once we actually start stepping out of this matrix system and we start working on our own system, developing the system that works for our growth, for our expansion, for our passions and inspirations. So what starts happening, we start meeting all these great challenges, financial ones, the ones in relationships, only so we would filter our lives. When you start losing money and you start losing friends, what happens? You really think about what matters the most. Because back at that time, I was going to the gym, I had all these routines in my life, but as I've started noticing these financial challenges, I've recognized, well, okay, maybe right now I can't invest any money for any gym memberships or anything else. I have to recognize what truly matters to me right now. Will I stay consistent with that thing I'm working on, or will I go back into my old life? And that's where we start filtering the main priorities, what truly matters to you. If those things starts happening, sometimes people say, oh, I think it's a bad sign because so many things are falling apart, but actually it's a good sign, because what's happening, you're being presented with this opportunity to filter your life, to declutter your life from unnecessary things that are maybe distracting you at this really important phase. Especially at the beginning, this phase is the most important because we are really vulnerable and we're not still sure if what we're doing is the right thing. And at that time, we really need to be strong and determined that what we've started is something we believe in. Even when we have no money, even when we have no support, we are the main support. And if you feel like that, if you feel like you're willing to go through this, if you feel like you will do whatever it takes to get through this. Even if it takes some suffering, even if it takes some whatever may happen, you will go through it because you know that you're building on something truly incredible. If you feel like that, within you there's a sense of courage that will support you when there will be hard times. There's like a force that supports you when it's the hardest. And usually this force helps you to manifest the right things at the exact time you need it the most. And it's not the time you think you want it, but it's always the time you need it the most. And most of you have already experienced that, and so many of you will experience it when you will embark on this journey. Some of you have started, some of you are already on it for some time, but still here and there we all experience these patterns. It's a common pattern that tells us that sometimes it's important to let go of important things so we can pay more attention to the most important things. Later in life we'll get everything together, and again you will be able to afford anything, or you will be, meet new people, or whatever is the thing that makes your life really meaningful and great. Everything again will come together. But right now maybe you're in that phase where your life is kind of filtering everything only so it can test your courage, and it can test yourself, how much you truly believe in the vision that you're building your life around. This is truly an important sign. The second one is that you have this deep sense of inner peace while thinking about your goals, visions, and dreams. Every time you think about it, you have this sense like, oh, this is so right. This is so right. You just feel that it's right. Whatever you're working on, you just feel that it's the right thing to do. If you feel like that, it's a sign that you are on a right path and a lot of support is coming your way. But you will see sometimes you just need to be patient. It's like nothing else. If you're doing your best, if you keep researching your field and connecting with new people and doing everything that is in your power, support will find you, and usually at the times when you least expect it. The third sign that you're on the right track is that you feel passionate and enthusiastic about your work. Sometimes people say to me, hey, I feel really passionate about this, but it isn't making me any money, so I feel like I should stop doing it. And usually I say, look, have you thought about all possible options? And sometimes people say, yeah, of course I did. And then I say, well, tell me about these options. And they only think about the comfort zone. They only think about what's comfortable to them. And I say, look, you have to stretch yourself. You can't experience something new if you're doing the same things over and over again. Do what feels uncomfortable and try something new and see what happens. See what happens if you actually become really good at something that right now you're uncomfortable, like making videos maybe, or doing some calls, or, contacting a certain person you admire only to get some advice on that or some new perspective on that. And, just stretch yourself. There's a term called rubber band effect, sometimes used in psychology and self-help, and it just tells us that we grow the most when we are stretching ourselves, pulling ourselves out of the common patterns and doing something new. It's just how we introduce ourselves to new opportunities. And, sometimes the universe doesn't bring you what you want only because you're not challenging yourself enough. Life is all about changes, and we are so used to do things same way over and over again that somehow we forget about all other options that are available to us. And once we look for them and search for them and study them, we recognize how much we didn't know, right? And we don't know what we don't know. That's why it's so important to keep expanding ourselves. But if you feel passionate and enthusiastic about your work, it's a sign that you're on the right track. When I've started painting my friends, I felt such a great passion that I've actually named my work I Draw My Passion. When I've started this channel, I said it will be AttractPassion because I want to help people to attract more passion in their lives, to raise themselves to a vibration of passion so they can fully live and fully transform their lives in a way that it becomes more meaningful to them. So they can actually start to live a life of their dreams, because I think we are living in a time where it's more important than ever finding something you love to do and then becoming a channel of it, bringing your love to the world, so you embody love and you walk in it and you bring more of it to here, because people will feel it and people will recognize it and connect with it, resonate with it. And I think it's something really, really powerful. Whatever you do it with love, and whatever you love, do more of it, right? This is just something that can tell you that you're on the right track. The fourth sign is that support is finding you from unexpected places. And it may be really interesting. Like when I've started, I got mentor through really, it was like a synchronicity for me. Like out of nowhere, I met truly incredible mentor. We became good friends and we're still friends now. But back at that time, she helped me so much to make something out of my vision. Back at that time, I had this vision that I want to help people with my art, because my art is not just, something nice to see. It's also deeply philosophical, it's spiritual. It has a depth of a story and inspiration within it. And my idea was that I want to bring this story through art to people and help them on psychological level, emotional level, spiritual level. I want to be this messenger of inspiration. And as I had that clear vision about what I want to do, she just helped me to navigate this vision into a right direction. So through her, I met a great manager of one gallery, and it just started like that, and everything started building a momentum. And at some point I've started making these videos and everything started growing in this direction, and it's still growing and expanding as I'm growing and expanding. But everything starts somewhere. But what's the most interesting is that support doesn't come from where we expect usually. Like sometimes we expect our family members should support us, or our friends should support us, or the universe should support us. And sometimes people say, well, I feel like the universe is blocking me, like it is not supporting me. But actually it's always supporting you, but because you're too attached on a certain idea what support looks like, you're blocking the real support. When you let go of these attachments and you accept that maybe right now you're alone on this, and as soon as you accept that you're the only one that will actually save you, you open up a possibility that the right help can actually come to you. And it's quite tricky, once you recognize that you're the only one that will save you, you open up, you stop expecting someone to help you. You stop, attaching yourself to others to help you. You actually open up and the right people come into your life. Sometimes through videos, sometimes, this video may be a support for you at this time, a mental support. And sometimes through books and mentors and all kinds of ways can be a support for us, but usually it's unexpected. When we least expect it, it comes, and that's how you know that you're on a right track. The fifth sign is that you're growing and expanding as you're doing your thing. If you're growing at what you're doing, it's a sign that you're on the right track. Anytime, whatever you do, provides you growth and expansion, making you wiser, more acknowledged, more intelligent, it's a sign that you're on the right track. Sometimes it doesn't even matter what you're doing, as long as you're growing and becoming more human, becoming more alive, becoming wiser and more experienced. It's a sign that you're on the right track. And it doesn't need to be a big thing. It doesn't need to be something that will change the world. Sometimes it just needs to change your inner world, and everything starts to make more sense, right? So, it's not all about big results. Sometimes we get too attached to this idea that to do something incredible needs to evolve huge results and changing millions of lives. But, the biggest result is our inner peace, our inner tranquility, and this sense of being okay with who I am. Sense of self-acceptance. Isn't that the greatest success? Sure, we are working on prosperity and health and abundance, but I think at the first place we have to make changes that allow us to be more okay with us, to be more in love with who we are, not egoistically but more generously, more, this heartfelt sensation that what we do is coming from who we are. And once more of what we do comes from who we are, we recognize that who we are becomes a source of what we do. So our work becomes like a product of our internal growth. Like an art, for example. Art is growing as an artist is growing. And a successful entrepreneur is building his businesses because he as a person is growing. And therefore, his business is growing in a way that becomes supportive for others because that person understands what people truly need. So they're not producing some nonsense and useless stuff. They're actually working on something that can help people. And I think that's a new entrepreneurship that is rising right at this time. So if any of that is happening to you, like you feel this great growth that is happening as you're moving through whatever you're moving through, even if you don't have this sense of purpose yet, it's a sign that you're on the right track. Eventually things will align and you will give this, or you will actually get this sensation of passion, of purpose, like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. But sometimes, we don't experience that immediately. Sometimes we need to go through these phases of purification and filtering. So rather than immediately being purposeful around something, we actually are just getting to know ourselves a little bit better, and that leads to growth, and that leads to expansion, and that leads to purpose. The sixth sign that you're on the right track is that you're becoming more resilient. Whatever you're doing, you're becoming more resilient. You're noticing that you're dealing with challenges with greater wisdom, with greater patience, and with a sense of groundedness. Like whatever is finding you, you're okay. You know that everything is fleeting. You know that this too shall pass. You know that what you're working on will manifest. And if it is not manifesting yet, it just means that it's not over yet. It just means that you're still in the middle of the process. And what is happening, you're learning to navigate your energy, to take care of your distractions, to stay grounded, and to build stability within your body. That's what you're learning. As you become more balanced and more stable, when you learn to balance, the masculine aspect of you, the feminine aspect of you, you will recognize that your energy body is becoming more stable, and it will feel like you're getting more stable. You will be less distracting yourself. You will be doing less things that are not healthy for you, and you will naturally start organizing your life the way that you will do more of the things that are important to you, until your life will become completely built around what truly matters to you, and you will just naturally let go of anything that is not in alignment with you. But it's a process, it's a long process of evolution. So what's happening, our sense of resilience allows us to move through anything. Sometimes people say, yeah, well, for me, for such a long time, nothing worked. Whatever I tried, nothing worked. And I know how it is. Sometimes we need to work for years on something until results starts showing up. And once they start showing up, they start showing up maybe really, really fast. Or not. Doesn't matter. What matters the most is that we are growing and that we have this sense of clarity, like what truly matters to us. Because if we have that, and if we are learning, and if we are constantly staying determined to what we want to build in our lives, we'll stay driven to keep up. And when things are not shifting, we have to ask ourselves, are there mistakes that we are not seeing? Because if you don't recognize a pattern that is not providing you results, you will keep repeating something that is clearly not working. So we need to develop this sense of pattern recognition. So we recognize, okay, this thing is not working. After so many months or maybe years, nothing is working. Maybe I could change something. And you try and change it. And sometimes you make one important change that can completely change your life, right? If any of this resonates with you, it means that you're on the right path. So my friends, I hope you found something valuable today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. And I want to thank you all for joining the membership on this channel, where I'm sharing some background behind my work, some of guided meditations, some of explanations of my art. So to anyone who would like to dive a little bit deeper behind what's, everything that I'm sharing here, feel free to join the membership program here on this channel. Thank you so much for your support. And